Alright, so I'm going to bring my beer fridge into service. It's in my shed, and therefore in the winter time I have to unattach everything and turn the fridge off. You can see that's where my taps go. Here is one of my taps here. I've got Perlick forward sealing taps. They're quite a bit more expensive than regular taps, but I think they're worth it. The reason being that it seals up here forward, and so the mechanism here is always immersed in beer, which means that it is much less likely to get moldy and gunky inside. Normal taps, I don't have one here on hand that I can show you, but normal taps have the mechanism sitting way out front here and they seal to the back, and so the mechanism is not always immersed in the beer. Anyway, what I am going to do is this little spout comes off the end, so I'm going to take that off. Just going to examine my taps. When I took them apart in the fall, I did a really good job of rinsing them all out with water, so there was no beer at all left in the lines or in the taps. And I'm just examining them now to make sure there does not appear to be any mold or anything like that. In fact, Perlicks, one thing I really like about them is the whole thing comes apart really easily so that I can examine. So I can actually take this off. Oh, we're getting there, we're getting there. Whoops, and a piece fell out. So I can look all down in here. Everything looks absolutely fantastic. I look at this thing. It all looks great. And I'll go down and get the piece that fell out. The piece that fell out looks absolutely fantastic. There's not a bit of anything on it. I'm going to put these suckers in service today. Alright, so I've got two of them on already. They go on very easily. You can even do it with one hand actually. You can see this actually has a thread on it, and there's a thread here. You just put that on there and start threading it. Thread, thread, thread. And once you get it hand tight, you then get a little tap wrench which looks like this. You can see it's got a little hook on the end there. The hook goes into the little holes around the rim here, and it just hooks in. And now you can see this tap is turning. I do need two hands to do this properly. With one hand I hold this in place, and with the other hand I turn the wrench. So I'm going to have to use two hands, but you can see how that goes. Alright, all four of them are on. On the back ends of these things, you can see that in the fall I just cut the hoses off. I couldn't be bothered unscrewing them. I will unscrew them now though. I've got to get that little piece of hose off and put another hose on there. The reason I cut them off is I wanted to take the hoses inside so that there would be no water left inside of them that would freeze and potentially cause them to burst, especially the shanks. I didn't want any water left in here, so I blew those out with air actually. So I'm just going to unscrew these hose clamps, cut away that last piece of hose, and then put a new piece of serving hose on there. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you that as I'm doing it because I definitely need two hands to do the cutting. Okay, I've got the line hooked up now. The hose clamp is tightened down. You can see I've got my fitting on the other end of the line here. And I am cleaning out a couple of kegs. I'm going to keg some stuff up. So what I have here is a keg full of Star San, my sanitizer. Whoa! I should have expected that. There. Make sure your taps are closed before you hook stuff up to it. So I have a keg of Star San here. I am going to run the Star San through my lines and through the tap. I'm going to do that with each one that I hook up. And I have another keg that I'm sanitizing here that I'm going to catch it in. I've got it sitting on a bucket. And let's see how this works. Hopefully, there. I'm just going to empty that keg of Star San through my lines right into here. And that will sanitize the line for me. I know that At the end of last year, in the fall of last year, my lines were cleaned out with Star San, and then they were rinsed out with water and then blown out with a bit of air. So they should be clean. I'm just running the sanitizer through them to make sure they're sanitized. And that's that. Then this tap will be ready to use. I've got a keg of beer that I'll hook right up to it. And then I'll do each of the other 3 taps over the next couple of days. As I need each one, I will give it a rinse with Star San, the same as I'm doing here, and get it all hooked up. And that's basically how I bring it into service at the beginning of the season. Oh yeah! I now have a keg of Hefeweizen on tap. That is a Bavarian wheat beer, one of my favorite styles of beer, and the whole reason I started brewing in the first place. And so, what I have to do is take this dry erase marker and right above here, Hefeweizen, so that everybody knows what's on tap there. That's a dry erase marker. And I've got my special glass. This is a special ceremony that I'm going to use my special glass for. A Meisel's Weizenbier glass that a friend of mine brought from Germany when he came to visit a few years ago. And we pull the tap. I can do this not very well with only 2 hands, but I can do it. Oh yeah! That is awesome. Check that baby out. Whoa. Yes. Ah, the beer fridge works again. It's almost summer.